All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. If I could have you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the purpose of this public hearing tonight is to adopt the final millage rate and budget for fiscal year 25-26. Any members of the public, I want to let you know that we have staff outside in the hallway this evening to discuss your personal trim notices if you have any questions. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Mr. Landry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, at this meeting, we will be setting the final millage rates. I would ask the Office of Management and Budget to read into the record the millage rates being considered for FY 25-26, which are used to fund the portion of the FY 2025-2026 budget that is supported by property taxes.
Madam Chair and Board of County Commissioners, I'd like to take a moment to review some of the terms for the public that we'll be using frequently tonight. The millage rate is the amount per thousand of of property value that is used to calculate property taxes. The rollback rate is the millage rate that would generate the same ad valorem tax revenue as was generated the previous year, excluding changes from new construction, annexation, or de-annexation. The aggregate millage rate is the rate obtained by dividing the sum of all the ad valorem taxes levied by the board by the taxable value of the county. The aggregate rate provides a way to make the comparison of the total tax rate to the rollback rate. The amount of taxes a property owner pays is calculated using a millage rate per thousand times the property value. The state of Florida establishes the laws that govern this process. The taxing authorities set the tax rate. These taxing authorities include the county, the city, the school board, fire district, just to name a few. The property appraiser assesses the value of each property. The amount of property taxes someone pays is calculated by taking the millage rate multiplied by the assessed property value divided by 1,000. At the last budget hearing, the board adopted the tentative millage rates. The tentative aggregate millage rates for FY 2025 and 2026 budget was approved at 8.0219, which is a 0.17% decrease from the current FY 24 and 25 aggregate millage rate, or a 5.45% increase from the FY 2025 and 2026 aggregate rollback rate of 7.6071. At the meeting, the board asked staff to reduce the overall millage rate. Staff has made some adjustments to the budget and is now proposing a reduced aggregate millage rate for the FY 2025-6 budget of 7.9982, which is a 0.46% decrease from the current FY 2024 and 2025 aggregate millage rate, or a 5.14% increase from the FY 2025 and 2026 aggregate rollback rate of 7.6071. The individual 2025-2026 millage rates are as follows. General Fund, 4.1985 mils, which has been updated from the tentative rate of 4.2222. Fine and forfeiture, 2.7294 mils. Erosion control, Zone E, 0.1000 mils. Mosquito control district, 0.1352 mils. Unincorporated service, MSTU, 0.50000 mils. Stormwater MSTU, 0.4731 mils. Law enforcement MSTU, 0.8403 mils. Transit MSTU, 0.2500 mils. And South Hutchinson Island Beach Erosion Control, 0.5200 mils.
Okay. With That, it moves us to item 3C, which allows for public comment on the final county budget for the FY25-26. Oops, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead. Sorry, I was wondering why we didn't move ahead. Sorry. Just a couple more slides here. The budget that is being presented to you tonight is being reduced from the $913,091,199 that was discussed 2 weeks ago. The new figure is $912,006,459. Included in that budget is a variety of funding sources, including property tax revenues. And out of those property tax revenues, there are many things funded, including several areas such as our community redevelopment agencies through the cities, Medicaid, our judicial agencies, the constitutional officers' budgets, as well as the Board of County Commissioners' operations. The overall Board of County Commissioners budget includes 932.38 full-time equivalent positions. And the aggregate millage rate, as discussed, is currently being proposed at 7.9982 mils, which is a reduction from 2 weeks ago of 8.0219 mils. With the proposed change, it would bring our budget into the 6th consecutive year of millage rate reduction since fiscal year 2020. With a cumulative impact of 0.8777 mils of aggregate millage rate adjustment since fiscal year 2020, which equates to a $37 million difference in recurring revenue each year. For a homeowner with a home valued at $350,000 after exemptions, that equates to $307.20 on difference on their annual tax bill in savings versus what the rate was 6 years ago.
So, Madam Chair, Commissioners, that kind of sums up the final presentation. So at this point, unless the board has any comments, we can go ahead and move forward to item 3C, which would be the public comment portion of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up for general public comment. Anyone here wishing to address the board? Seeing no movement, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment.
So, Madam Chair, at this point, if there's no any need for any questions by the board or no further discussion, we would be looking for the board to consider moving forward with a motion on the resolution adopting the FY 25-26 final millage rates.
Okay, and are we going to do these same as last time with the roll call and vote for each separate? I see Ms. Barbieri nodding her head. Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right, so with that, is there discussion? If not, we can entertain a motion at this time.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Lee?
comment and would like to make a motion. First of all, thank you, staff, for what you've done. It's been a challenging year, to say the least. And congratulations to the sheriff and others that are taking and getting the needed funds that were asked for. And again, thank you for the staff for doing what you have and making it work and bringing our millage rate to under 8. And with that, I would like to make a motion to accept the adopting millage rate for 25-26.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and there's a second. Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Lowry,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Clasby,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes, ma'am.
Chair Fowler.
Yes, ma'am. All right, and with that, that passes.
So, Madam Chair, we are now ready for the board to consider adopting the resolution for FY 2025-26 final budget reflecting the $912,006,459 if the millage rates stay unchanged under that, which they did, as determined for the final budget.
Excellent. All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the proposed budget.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Lowry,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Classy,
Yes, ma'am.
Chair Fowler.
Yes, ma'am. All right, and with that, I want to send it back over to George.
Yes, Madam Chair. Now that we're done with the budget part and before you adjourn, I did want to share, I received a couple emails, and I know this is a little off script here. It has nothing to do with the budget, but I did receive a couple emails forwarded to me from Michael Manning, our Performance Innovation Navigator, that our consultant had reached out to us with regards to the search for the county attorney and some of the applicants that you were considering to interview here coming up next week has respectfully withdrawn from the process. So we really don't have a pool for you to interview. So we would like you to go ahead and, with a non-formal sort of thought process here, let me move forward with having that recruiter go back out and find another search for another pool of talent for you to look at, maybe do it for another 30 days, and we can reach out to Florida Association of County Attorney section of that and do some other marketing as well in combination with the consultant. But keep in mind, that was one of her emails. Then she sent a second email indicating that while she was going through the original process, she did have a lot of candidates that she thought you all would be interested in, and they were probably a little bit higher level of experience and things of that nature, but they were somehow had the indication that the board may not consider the salary ranges that they were looking for. So my suggestion to you would maybe be let the consultant kind of say, salary's there's no need to discuss salaries. Submit if you're interested, and the board will look at the candidates, and if they find somebody they're willing to negotiate a salary, instead of trying to put out a number somewhere that may hinder you getting a look at some people that you might be really interested in. So we'd like you to consider that as well.
Absolutely. What's the pleasure of the board here? Any thoughts?
I think everything happens for a reason. I think that's kind of meant to be, because I want to feel like I have a handful of candidates that I up front really am looking forward to interview, and I just felt like we needed more. So I think that is an excellent idea to postpone and reach back out. And I think we'll have more success that way.
Madam Chair, I think that's a good idea as well.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes, and just for the public's knowledge, this is within the contract for a second round at no extra cost. So yes, absolutely move forward, and let's see what we can find this time.
Madam Chair, Commissioner, you are correct. That is, this will be a round that's built in at no additional charge by the consultant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Let's go ahead and go back out and let's see what we get the second time.
All right,
And
we will.
then I would say if
We'll deliver that
not
message this
successful,
evening.
we consider a second firm.
We will do that. We will send the message to her this evening and get the ball rolling.
Awesome. All right, and with that, I
Ma-
too
Oops.
just want to get you a second, Commissioner Clasby. I want to thank everyone on the team. I want to thank Jen and the entire OMB team. Third year in, it is just getting more and more refined. I appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that go into this, because it's not just what everyone sees. You pretty much work on this 10 months out of the year. George, Maite, everyone, thank you again, all the support team that helped get us here. Fantastic job. Just want a big round of kudos to everyone. We really appreciate you and all the hard work that goes into this. So, Commissioner Klasky.
Madam Chair, so I want to challenge staff and administration as we move into FY 27's budget, starting to create it, that we start creating it with the goal of the rollback rate as the actual end product that we create. So no new spending in budgets, try to keep them as flat as possible. And I think that we should be reaching some sort of consensus here that should be staff's goal. There's a lot of uncertainty with what could be coming out of Tallahassee. I think we should be preparing for austerity, and you never know what's going to happen, so I think we should start planning ahead for that. And I was hoping to see if I could get some consensus here that we could get staff to start moving in that direction.
Commissioner Clasby, I've already been vocal about this since we started this year's budget, that there was no break. As soon as we finish this, we might as well start planning for next year. So maybe you might have heard me saying that.
Yep.
I didn't. In fact, if we could approve next year's budget right now, I would, because it would be the exact same number with no increases.
That we cannot.
Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Lowry.
James. I think it's a great idea. We need to really think ahead. It's like going into a period of unknown, and we really need to be very mindful of spending because none of us really know what's going to happen. And, you know, we need to continue to work efficiently and as fiscally responsible as we can. And I have to, you know, kind of echo what Jamie said. Thank you to all the staff, especially for being patient with me as a first-year commissioner, understanding all of this. And it is quite the process. And I look forward to jumping back in this almost immediately, so I'm even more comfortable with it next year. But y'all are amazing, and I really, truly appreciate everyone here. So thank you.
All right, and
I'm
you already
good.
said your thank yous.
I've
With
already said
that-
my thing, yes.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right.